What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid, episode 80. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Wait, hold on. No, that was. I don't know. Somebody was telling me to say that. I'm not doing really well, and I will tell you why later. But I don't want to get into it right now. Okay,
We're gonna talk
Philly.
about that MLS Cup after, definitely. I need to know the scoop.
Will.
I need to know your thoughts.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I need some time for this all to sink in. And luckily, there was so much football. I got to wake up this, over the weekend, right after that Philadelphia Union loss in MLS Cup, and I got to watch Chelsea Arsenal. I got to watch Tottenham Liverpool. I got to watch PSG. I got to watch. So the absolute glut of football that was on as we try and throw as many fixtures as we can together before this World Cup starts in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about, but I got to ask you before I get on a plane.
Yes. I'm hyped up for that, man. Next podcast, it's here.
Goodness.
Next podcast is presential, so people, hit that like button, okay? Let's hype up for episode 81. And we're gonna have a bold giveaway. So if we see a high like rate, we'll do a giveaway of like 3 to 5 hoodies, people. So go bold in that comment section, okay? And in the like button. But yes, let's start with the football. And you said it. You started with the Chelsea Arsenal. And this is it's the second consecutive loss of Graham Potter at Chelsea. And it's not looking good, man. Cucurella got bullied by Saka. And the team needs new transfers. And Nkunku is definitely needed. And Aubameyang, 8 touches? 8 touches? Aubameyang didn't show up. Armand Broja, come on, it's not the game that I'm going to judge him, but they need another finisher at the top. So Nkunku must happen.
But why aren't we judging Broja, right? I honestly, I have to.
Long extension.
Right.
And Aubameyang's there. Aubameyang's getting like 300K.
Yeah, I get it. He was brought in to score goals, but the issue is Havertz looked lost.
True.
Cucurella once again did not have a good game. And I'm actually surprised that this team was as dependent on a Reece James, was as dependent on say an N'Golo Kante, was as dependent on maybe not a Chilwell, but this injury crisis that's going on there, it's not exactly like Zakaria getting injured midweek and not being able to play.
Chilwell played better than Cucurella, definitely, especially leading up to a World Cup. In my opinion.
I'll be honest. Previous to these last few games, I would have said no to that. But as of right now, there's Graham Potter is naive right now. He is managing. He is managing with naivete, in my opinion. Everybody looked listless. They were wandering. There was little intent on the field. I think all 3 of those things mean the exact same thing.
True.
He keeps putting in players that aren't going to necessarily change their tune just by continuing to play them. Raheem Sterling, in particular, to me, has not looked particularly good. And when it comes down to it, you've got a Christian Pulisic that is itching to make an impact for this team, and you don't even give him a chance. Or if you do, it's in the last whatever minutes with literally nothing to do. So, yes, that feels biased. I get it to a lot of our – but you're telling me Raheem Sterling's playing better?
No, Raheem Sterling's not playing better. Aubameyang's not playing better. And those initial signs of great, like Kovacic going bold, Havertz playing good, now we have doubts. And Cucurella, the star man of Graham Potter. So I'll repeat, and it has to happen, people. Transfers needs to happen. And Mr. Shields with Todd Boehly and Graham Potter, they need to find players to make immediate impact in this team. Again, Aspie is the only leader in that locker room. They need leaders and players to make a difference right now. I think Neymar, I'm not joking, Neymar to Chelsea next season is real in my opinion, honestly. But people can be skeptical right now, but the PSG drama will not finish with Mbappe. And Neymar will want to be the star. And Chelsea will pay. We'll pay that big salary, okay? So no doubts right there. But mentioning the other side, the winning side, because London as it seems, is red, okay? Has to be mentioned. And my first thing is, Saliba has to be said as a top 3 center back in the Prem 100%, okay? Starting for France, and in that game, that was a masterclass against Chelsea. Simply the best Frenchman right now playing at the back next to Upamecano, which is impressing me too at Bayern. But I really wanted to say that. What a game.
And it just goes to show you right now, Chelsea's biggest loss has been Antonio Rudiger in my mind. And then when you look at Arsenal, you had big games not just from Saliba but also from Gabriel. Gabriel scored the winner. No.
Yes.
Yes. And Ben White played well. I mean, they didn't play insanely well, right? When it comes down to it. In fact, I had people trying to convince me via tweet that William Saliba did not have a good game at all, and then boom, there he is. I know, and I honestly was like, am I taking crazy pills? No, he was the best player, the best defender on the pitch there. And when it comes down to it, that loan to Marseille, I don't know if it intentional. I don't know how close it ever got to Saliba leaving full time, right? But that loan to Marseille was everything for William Saliba.
Facts.
Him coming back and him continuing to put in just beautifully composed games left and right. It is pretty fun to watch. And then you like lick your chops because you're looking at this kid. He's still 21. He's still so young. So it's amazing.
He leaves Liga as the best center back, okay, in the league. And now he comes to the Prem, and I'm saying top 3 already for Saliba in the Premier League at 21. So the history has just started, okay? And you said about Gabriel Magalhães, and it's true. Gabriel Magalhães just got that extension until 2027, okay? And they need to extend with Saliba, Saka, and Martinelli. Priority. Not another signing, okay? It's the extensions. I do think a replacement for Partey would be important in January, but the extensions have to be locked up. So I really want to mention that. And a winger. Yeah. A winger, because Arsenal needs goals with the lack of goals of Gabriel Jesus, because he hasn't scored in 8 games. And let's be honest, if he doesn't score, like Martinelli, Saka, and another winger will have to compensate the goals that Gabriel Jesus doesn't score. So that needs to happen in the market. Needs to.
I look forward to the World Cup because, we're also going to start to be able to wrap our head around who are these targets that they should be going after, right? You're really going to get some time to breathe because all these fixtures just keep coming rapid fire. But I think also, Thomas Partey showed how kind of important he is to these types of big wins as well. And I don't know. I mean, Arsenal just keeps on doing it. It's like
it's true.
It's huge.
True. And with Arsenal, like I gotta give a big shout, the biggest shout to Arteta. Everyone doubted Arteta, and I gotta say, what a comeback, okay? Arteta right now in 150 games is the Arsenal manager with the most wins ever, ahead of Arsene Wenger, okay? Arteta has 87 wins in 150 games, and Wenger has 82, okay? Elite stat from Mikel Arteta, and I've already seen shouts, okay, of Barca being interested, like, what the hell? So it's not just Arsenal that recognizes what Arteta does, it's the football world, because again, everybody doubted him. Aubameyang bashed him, and he said, I'm going to trust my philosophy. And those pillars, those key foundations of Arteta are showing results right now. The best start ever in Arsenal history, trusting the youth. So,
and they're doing it. They're doing it in spite of the crunky ownership, right? which became a target of ire, understandably so.
They're spending more.
I mean, you just listed a few naysayers. You got to remember that both of us at one point were naysayers as well. So it is wonderful to see a story like this pan out, because we are at that point in the season where there's going to be itchy trigger fingers when it comes to letting managers slide. I'm talking Moyes. I'm talking, we've already seen Stevie Gerrard get the axe and Unai Emery come in and do some wonderful stuff, which we'll get to.
And,
but no.
And
we're
saying Arsenal, like the replacement for Arteta would have been Conte. And we see that this season Conte hasn't have one win against the top 6. The best result is a draw against Chelsea. Yeah. So big miss of Kulusevski, very needed, and more signings. They need more finishers than Son, Kane, and Richarlison. Okay, they need more options attacking wise. Kulusevski, he's back, but he's still not fully back. And once again, if he goes, it can't be Bentancur the one conducting the midfield going forward, man. Okay, so that has to be mentioned.
Well, I didn't mean for us to jump all around London right now, but yeah, Tottenham's got their own issues, and the funny thing is it's not Tottenham in the top 4 no longer. Chelsea in the top 4 no longer. Manchester United, which had a shot at getting into the top 4, no longer right now. Who's in the top 4 right now? Who's in third place?
One of the richest clubs in the world, though. One of the richest clubs in the world, and a club that only conceded 11 goals this season, okay? Miguel Almiron, 7 goals, okay, in 7 games. And in 4 consecutive games, he scored already, Almiron. He's on fire, okay? And Paraguay star. I'm shook. Yeah. I'm shook. Yeah. You called him from the MLS times. You told me he was a stud, and I said, oh, no, could be American bias. You were right, Bretson. You were right.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that works his absolute tail off. True. And I think when somebody doubts him, he's one of those ones that obviously takes it to heart and says, watch what I do, because this guy, he might still be replaced in the future, right? He might still have some high-priced target
but he'll be
come
involved.
in that has better pedigree, but Almiron has now affixed himself to St. James Park. I mean, people look at him and they see the work ethic. They see that when properly backed, when properly supported, that he will deliver. It also helps that you've got guys like Kieran Trippier that is doing the work. He literally is. Is it weird to say he is the best right back in Premier League football right now?
I won't say the best English. I'll say best English, yes, definitely. Cancelo for me. Okay. I can't forget him. He got that red card, yes. But Trippier, for me, is the best English right back, okay? Leading up to the World Cup. And I do think at the right, if Reece James is not back and Walker too, I think Trippier will be definitely at that right back slot, in my opinion. And shout out to Brun Guimarães, man. What a goal it was. And I'm sick of this Brun Guimarães being the best out of the top 6 midfielder. No, people. Brun Guimarães is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, simply put, okay? And that's why he starts for Brazil, okay? That's the levels that he's at right now, 100%, in my opinion. World class, I'll say it. At St. James Park, you have a world-class player. That is Brun Guimarães.
But the real ones from the beginning of this Newcastle takeover will remember Chris Wood. Oh. And Chris Wood with a goal off the bench. We got to remember that he was Mr. $20 million man. I remember being like, what the heck? I still think it was an absolute waste of money. And Burnley did end up going down. But like what? Just imagine, just think about how far that squad has come, because they were literally spending $20 million on a striker they shouldn't have, just to pull them away from Burnley, just so they would go down instead of Newcastle. And now we're talking about Newcastle in the flipping top 3.
Unbelievable. Right decisions. Botman, that defense, okay? 11 goals in the Prem. And they didn't spend more than 100 million, man. Just Maguire was more than the Newcastle defense, man. That is insane. And this is the best defense in the Prem. Eddie Howe going bold. Botman, Trippier, Pope. Everyone. Dan Burn, I love them. I love every single player of that team, man. So I'm a huge supporter of what Newcastle's doing. Because it's the rebuild. Not going crazy. I know they spent the 70, I keep on saying, of Isaac, which you can't get strikers for a good price right now. It's very hard, man. Forwards are going crazy high. So, yeah, man. I'm big supporter of the rebuild. And you said Almiron. In the future, he'll always be involved too. I completely agree. A player like Almiron, Nick Pope, Dan Burn, Alan Saint-Maxime, in 3 years' time, they might just be on the bench, just feeling the spirit, the Geordie spirit of Newcastle that wants to badly succeed because, this is Champions League levels potential. So.
Well, and it just goes to show that if you put the right person in charge, if you put the right chemistry together, which obviously took time and will continue to take time, you don't need to go panic buy Wesley Fofana for 80 million. You don't need to go panic buy certain players just because you have this money. And I'm looking at you, Todd Bowley, just because you have this money burning a hole in your pocket.
Fofana's good. Fofana, I think, will be a good
Fofana
one.
He will come good if he can get over his injuries. But Sven Botman has been, not just 2 times the signing. Botman was 40. Fofana was 80, right? He has not just been 2 times the signing. Right now, he's been 4 times the signing. And at the center, and he's young, and he's ready to go. And the funny thing is I don't even know if we're going to see him play a role for the Netherlands in the World Cup.
I don't think he starts.
No.
That just shows like the level of a signing of Timber would have been for United. Like Timber, they leaked, so that's. But
the crazy thing, like Botman right now is better than Timber.
I don't agree personally. Personally, I don't know.
I watched Ajax PSV. I've watched a lot of Ajax over the last. I have not been impressed with Timber, and they're still being young. There's plenty still, but I don't want to get off on a tangent because we got limited time here. Sorry,
but it goes to show Newcastle is doing the right decisions, and that rebuild is going crazy. But we're going with Tottenham, with Liverpool, and again, I'm gonna point fingers at. Not at Tottenham and Conte, okay? I think Conte is seriously doubting if he stays at Tottenham, okay?
Yeah.
Because he doubts he can win a title with Tottenham. And if Conte doesn't do it, man, it's going to look very, very bad for Tottenham this future, okay? Because Kane won't stay. Son won't stay after Conte goes, in my opinion. Lloris goes. So that's a captain. That's a legend of the club goes to. So, and even Bale, okay, like he went and he's won trophies nonstop ever since he left Tottenham.
Too soon.
Sorry. But like, it's what I mean is like Tottenham. sorry. It's like Tottenham. The future, I'm not seeing a bright future personally, in my opinion, man. In my opinion.
Yeah, and obviously. Employing somebody like Antonio Conte with a pedigree of Antonio Conte, it also virtually guarantees that youth academy is never going to be touched, right? Not once.
Who can be is with Conte?
Well, that's the thing. We don't necessarily know. I know they have a couple names, but Antonio Conte is not going to use them. Okay, like you're not seeing Dane Scarlett get any sort of a chance. They need goals, they need striker, they need whatever. He's out. Is he out on loan? I think he is out on loan. Those names, they have a couple guys. Alfie Devine, who's very, very good, more of a playmaker, plays in their UEFA Youth League squad. But you're never going to see Antonio Conte use him. That's just not him. Okay. So what it comes down to is I'm 100% agreeing with you. This feels like early day Conte, where he's like making excuses. Like, my squad is not good. My squad is not good. My squad is not good. True. He also deserves some blame for these last few results, right? And losing Son, they got back Kulu, but losing Son is going to be tough. And I only hope, let's do this, right? I only hope that Son makes it back for the World Cup.
Just like I said with Chelsea, I think badly Tottenham also need those transfers, man. And going to Liverpool, man. Liverpool, big boy teams, big boy game from Liverpool, okay? And in the Premier League, Salah seems to show up in these big games. 2 crucial goals, okay? And Mo Salah went bold. I gotta say just that. And
He
if
did.
if he keeps on with this form, we're definitely going to see Mo Salah with 20 league goals this season that Liverpool desperately needs, okay, to be back in this top 4 race. And it's the first away win this season of Liverpool. So Klopp must be begging for Jude Bellingham to go to Liverpool, to go to this midfield next to Thiago Alcantara, because they need something different, man. But again, Mo Salah, big shout out to him, man. What a game.
Yeah, but even if Jude comes in, it doesn't guarantee Thiago stays healthy enough to stick around. But listen,
it's good. It's already it's better than what's happening.
Salah back. I mean, Salah has one of the quickest windups, in all of football when it comes to taking a shot. I would have lollygagged on that ball and not been able to get it on frame. Not that I am even an iota of what Mo Salah could do, but Mo Salah, that quick shot, that reception of the ball in the box and quick fire into the corner, you just knew it was going to be Salah's game. And Mo Salah now, you may have already mentioned, he's got 5 goals in his last 4 games. So he is very much feeling it. And it seems like they've already forgotten that odd loss to Leeds United. So that's good.
And no World Cup for Salah too. So he's gonna be recovery time and gonna be stronger in January. Just like a man that scored his 18th, Erling Haaland, has scored his 18th Premier League goal in 12 games already. Has more goals than his dad in the Premier League, man. That is insane, And this match we're still at the beginning of November. Insane levels, by Haaland. And a match winner at the end, I know it's a penalty, but there was a VAR goal. There was a VAR offside, that was centimeters. And that goal, I think it was deserved. So, Man City, they're going to get the trouble. I believe in it, too.
I hope not. If they get calls like that, they'll absolutely get the trouble. My goodness. That was the softest penalty I have ever seen. Anthony Robinson, or Jedi Robinson is what he goes as, is the guy that somehow ghosted. This guy somehow knocked down a 6'4", Norse god. And he blew over, the winds just blew him over, and he put that 96th minute penalty kick. I mean, come on. That's just a crap goal to congratulate him on, but I'm here for it. He's back from injury. He's scoring again. He knew that Lionel Messi passed him in goal involvements this season, and Cody Gakpo passed him in goal involvements this season, so he had to get back to scoring goals, I guess. But yeah, were Manchester City the better team than Fulham? Sure.
Yes, man. With 10 men.
They were the better team. Yeah, absolutely. They had 73% possession with 10 men. That is just unreal to believe that they just dictated that game so much. But it still felt a little hard done that in the 96th minute they get that delightful call. Wonderful call.
Cancelo, no worries. Cancelo got subbed. Cancelo got sent off in the first half. And I gotta say this too, man. Julian Alvarez in this game reminded to the world that if he was in any other Premier League team, he most likely would be starting, What a finish that was. And I wouldn't be surprised if he definitely has more than 10 Premier League goals this season, Haaland, and Alvarez, what a duo to have, man.
Yeah, or hear me out. He's another Pep Guardiola. Julian Alvarez becomes another Pep Guardiola offering in order to make the rest of the Premier League more interesting. Imagine he goes to Chelsea or he goes to Arsenal and starts banging in goals for them, a la Gabriel Jesus. I'm kidding. I am absolutely kidding here. But at some point, it's going to get annoying for Julian Alvarez, who is a massively natural finisher, has clearly had no problem fitting into the system whatsoever. At some point, it's going to get annoying that he is not the head honcho.
I think Haaland is inevitably going to leave. And I think the moment when Haaland leaves, 2024, 2025, I think Alvarez will be the main man. Yeah. And then that new Aguero, The new Agüero type beat, that can be the new name for Alvarez. Le Araña Agüero.
I like it. Well, while we're on the Manchester City run, because I'm with you. It feels like momentum's building, and my goodness, I cannot wait until City and Arsenal actually, meet and get this over with. Or they already met once, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No. Have Man City and Arsenal played yet?
I haven't seen it. No,
not yet.
Still no.
No, not yet. But before we move on from Manchester City, I have to bring up midweek. I understand where it's old news, but you got to bring up Rico Lewis. Okay, you got to bring up Rico Lewis first off, mainly because there aren't many of these youth academies that break their way through like Phil Foden has. But Rico Lewis has managed to not only score a goal in his first European start, right? He became the youngest player to ever do it, okay? And the only the person that he beat out to that record, this is Rico Lewis, the person he beat out to that record was no other than Karim Benzema for Lyon back in the day, back in his early days. So you got to shout it out because whether people like it or not, Manchester City's academy is just bursting with phenomenal players. Borges, right? You've got these guys that are just really should be a part of the system, but it's really hard when you have the quality at your fingertips with Pep to be able to do that. And it was wonderful to see him get that opportunity in Europe. So kudos to you, Rico Lewis.
And you said Carlos Borges, and Carlos Borges scored a poker, 4 goals against Man United, and he does the Cristiano celebration. I love to see it. And he was registered in the Champions League for Man City. Yeah. So if it's desperately needed, Carlos Borges can deliver. But Portuguese people, start to look at the Man City prodigy of Carlos Borges. But I want to say, like Fulham, okay, they played against 10, but it's still Man City. And they played very well, in my opinion, how they did, okay? And I just want to give a very big shout to Andrés Pereira, okay?
Absolutely.
Which he right now, he's the only player, okay? Only De Bruyne has created more chances than Andrés Pereira in the Premier League this season, okay? And in my opinion, Andrés Pereira is playing better than Fred, okay? And he's playing better than Coutinho this season, 100%. So Andrés Pereira for Fulham, bargain signing, okay? And crucial next to Palhinha. So great rebuild from Mark Silva. Great rebuild.
And I believe Andreas Pereira is the only person in the Premier League, the only player in the Premier League that is also going to get a Copa Libertadores medal. So good for him, right? No, but Andreas Pereira, I mean, everyone was saying when he was signed for Fulham, especially United fans were saying, hey, look at this. They brought back the preseason Pele or whatever, the preseason, the preseason stat patter. And now, Fulham's within striking distance of potentially taking over Manchester United. No, I don't think that's going to happen. But Andreas Pereira, João Palhinha, Timmy Ream having his one of the best seasons we've ever seen him have in the Premier League, which, to be honest, is not saying too much. But he has turned into a positioning god for Fulham, and it is nice to see this Marco Silva team looking like a team that is going to stay in the Premier League, not just for one season, but for several seasons. And we hope that is what the outcome is in this scenario. So great shout out for Pereira, because he deserves every bit that's coming to him.
And then we have Tite with that Brazil national team selection that everybody must be dying to see. But we're speaking about like players, underrated players out here. I'm going to say managers. So with Aston Villa, we got to say that 3-1 win. It's a Man United, okay? A bit of a scuffle between Christian and Tyron Mings, okay? That wasn't nice to see. And it's the first match that Christian captained this season, and it didn't go well. Why? Because they were playing against the inevitable, underrated manager, underdog manager of Unai Emery, saying good evening to everyone in the Prem. I am back. I am back. And look at the stats. It's the first home win. It's the first win in Old Trafford from Aston Villa since the 19th of August of 1995. 1995. Wow. So what a start from Unai Emery, starting his job now at Aston Villa. Insane. 3-1
Yeah,
win.
I feel sheepish. It's only one game. But I do feel sheepish because they outplayed Manchester United. They outplayed them very, very well. And it looked like a team that was ready for a fresh start, right? Because Tyrone Mings obviously would have not gotten into a scuffle with Ronaldo if Steven Gerrard was still on the sideline. Because I don't think his verve would have been there. I don't think his head would have been in the game. I don't think his boxing gloves would have been on. And you saw that throughout the squad and throughout that game, that Aston Villa was just a jump to every ball. Jacob Ramsey looking phenomenal, right, for them with a goal and assist. I believe he's one of only 4 players to not only score a goal, but to assist and on top of that have an own goal in the same game. And there you go. 21 or 22-year-old Jacob Ramsey is your guy. But Unai Emery, okay, it's clearly guys that are ready to prove themselves because Leon Bailey looks a different player already.
I agree.
So I love to see it, and I don't know what's going to happen with Villa, but there are other teams that have worse problems than Aston Villa do right now, and if they continue to play like that, I don't think Villa has to worry about bottom half of the table anymore.
I agree. I think they'll be top 14 with Unai Emery, man. That is a clear intent of change by the Aston Villa team, and I agree. I was surprised with how Man United played. I gotta be honest, man. I was expecting more.
Good.
I was expecting more from the team, and with Garnacho starting too, man. Oh, you gotta expect so much, man. But in the Europa League, I gotta say though, he's got that first professional goal. What a dream for your first professional goal! Be of an assist of Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Man United. You couldn't ask for better. So that celebration, Garnacho, I am loving what I'm seeing, man. And I gotta say, big thumbs up to Lisandro Martinez, which he for sure is helping that development of Garnacho at United.
Yeah, I'm honestly going to put this loss to Villa at Ten Hag's feet. I'm not going to put it at anybody else's because he started Garnacho a couple days after starting Garnacho, you know? and the kid's 18 years old. I don't care how good he is. He's confident, but at the same time, that's a lot to put on your legs. In one day. It was nice to see Shoutouts on the bench. It was nice to see, a couple youth products on the bench, but my goodness, there was nothing going on with United. I mean, Ronaldo didn't look interested in the game. I'm sorry. He didn't.
It wasn't the best game. It wasn't the best game. And Unai Emery definitely knows how to react to Ronaldo. That's I feel like I really liked how Aston Villa played. Again, I was shocked with the level. Mings was better. Like Jacob Ramsey, like their own goal, okay, that was unlucky. But the rest, and he won't even be called up, okay? Or he's not even in the debate to be called up for this English national team. Jacob Ramsey, just like James Maddison. If James Maddison, okay, isn't selected, and a Sancho, a player like Sancho or a Ward-Prowse, something just crazy out of the blue, it happens, man. That's total disrespect, man. Call up Maddison for the World Cup. Just want to say
he's not going to. He's not going to. I honestly don't believe he's going to. But if you go back at the stats and you look at English, I don't care, midfielders, forwards, collectively. And you look at goal involvements since I think the beginning of beginning of 2022 or maybe the beginning of last season. I have no clue. But if you look at the stats, James Maddison is right up there, and he's had some injuries along the way. Anything I know, and Madison's got this bite to him. We talked about Mason Mount last week and how he doesn't have that bite, and it was in existence again versus Arsenal. James Maddison has this bite to him. He's got that, what do you call it? He's got that dog in him, that he just always wants to prove himself. And that's a guy that it could be remarkably valuable at the World Cup. Remarkably valuable. Imagine him coming in the last 20, 25 minutes, right? Exactly. Set pieces. He's phenomenal all across the board. His biggest issue is his injury problems over the past few years. So I love that. I love that shout because I 100% believe he should be on the plane. I am not so sure Southgate's going to put him there.
Maddison, and it's the fact too, like Maddison should have that ruthlessness because he didn't get picked by any of the top 6 teams. And
Nope.
in my opinion, Madison should definitely be contemplating a team like Newcastle. A new rebuild.
Like it.
Bruno Guimarães, Madison, that resilience like the midfield would be elite in my opinion. Or even if it doesn't work out, okay, Madison, people will be like, okay, he can be a bench player in the future. He's English. So just the fact that he's English, he'll be good to be involved. And I don't think his release clause, I don't know how many years he's got left, but not too many. Not too many at Leicester. So they can manage to get a good deal in the next year or in 2 years' time, definitely. So let's wait and see about Madison. But in the Prem, you still have any shouts? You have the Leeds.
Yeah, well,
Leeds.
Yeah. Well, here, a couple weeks ago, we were all talking about Brendan Rodgers probably being on the hot seat.
Well,
but it was Ralph Hasenhuttl that recently got his boot. Southampton got raided for Joe Shields. Southampton has a bunch of young kids. Ralph Hasenhuttl has been on and off the person that has been blamed for it over the last 4 years, and yet they kept keeping him. Right? So not entirely surprising, but I am surprised in how David Moyes and West Ham look right now. They've got 8 losses already. They're still in the relegation or near the relegation zone. Some big changes are coming. And another coach, you just mentioned it, that I thought was going to be there and has literally saved his butt with wins over Liverpool and wins over, who was that against?
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, much needed, right? Much needed. And here's what it comes down to. It is not the guys that you would think that are saving the day at Leeds United. If there's one thing that's for sure, every player on that field plays for Jesse Marsch.
True.
And if he has nothing, he at least has that. Okay? Because Crescencio Somerville is not some player that anybody knew heading into this season. If you follow Leeds, you know that they have some very interesting, bright young stars that have done pretty well for them in the Premier League too, Somerville being one of them. But did I have Crescencio Somerville scoring 2 game-winning goals against Liverpool and Bournemouth in like the last 5 minutes of the game on my bingo card? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's amazing.
Gilhart, Sam Greenwood, Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, all these players are like under 24s. So the Leeds development and Ilan Meslier, can't forget, all these players are going to go for a good price. So the development of Leeds United, once again, showing results. They literally only need to stay in the Prem. And they'll be selling all these players. These players.
but literally, there's an issue because their defense, Leeds' defense, is still atrocious. I mean, they are not good. And it just goes to show you, Bournemouth put 3 up on them before somebody on that field woke up. And I do credit Tyler Adams has changed that team in that there's this never quit, always pissed off type of mentality to Leeds United, right? Christensen is another one that plays like that. He plays like somebody is dating his sister, okay? he honestly, he is always angry, and Tyler Adams is like that too. Tyler Adams, I don't know if you watched him on the field during that game, especially during that beautiful remontada where they scored 3 goals in 35 minutes. He was getting into fights and scuffles all over the place. And if Tyler Adams plays like that for the U.S. national team during this upcoming World Cup, he is easily their most important player on the pitch.
Ahead of McKennie.
Ahead of McKennie. I mean, ahead of McKennie as of late, yes.
Okay.
McKennie at his best? I don't know. But can you have both, right? McKennie at his best, and Adams at his best, and Moose at his best, and Pulisic at his best, please.
And
just give me all.
And Gioreno. And Brendan Aronson. Oh my days, man. If all these players are at their best, man, you're definitely going through with Wales. Because England's definitely going through. But we can World Cup talk, man. We're about to go bold with that. So if you're enjoying this video, okay, until now, don't forget to like this video on YouTube community. But now, switching leagues, okay, Premier League. Let's go for the Bundesliga, okay, the youth league, because something amazing happened against Bochum. with Dortmund winning 3-0, and 2 of those goals, okay? 2 goals. Youssoufa Moukoko at 17 is scoring braces, okay, in the Bundesliga like it's nothing. Expected right now. Insane, okay? Haller, okay, for unfortunate circumstances that happened, but Moukoko is showing up and showing. Why don't I have that extension already, Dortmund, until 20? My contract is until 2023. Moukoko's playing like he needs to get that extension. Definitely, okay? And he became the youngest player ever to score 10 goals in the Bundesliga. So Jude Bellingham, youngest captain ever this season, and Moukoko, the youngest to score 10 goals. Once again,
Absolutely.
Trusting the youth, Dortmund's going bold.
Yeah, and I believe I have a hunch here. I believe that before Erling Haaland left, he taught or he gave Youssoufa Moukoko a little bit of his strength. Because that first goal that he scored was a flippin' rifle. And it was beautiful to see. First off, it takes a certain special striker to pull the trigger like that. When you have Reina running off to your side, you have I'm going to take it myself and basically bury the goalkeeper myself. And that's exactly what you need to see from Youssoufa Moukoko. So it is wonderful to think that he's getting his chance now. And even in reserve, they haven't woken up the beasts that could be Daniel Malen, that could be Karim Adeyemi. If Gio Reyna continues to stay healthy, we know he's going to grow into a much, much bigger role on the Dortmund team. So, but yeah, Moukoko getting that record ahead of Florian Wirtz. It's beautiful to see, and he is not the only one doing it in the Bundesliga.
Ahead of Wirtz, man. That's a really good shout that you gave right there. Reminder to the world that Wirtz needs to be a name to be put out there. But Adeyemi, man, hopefully. Big expectations from Adeyemi, from Salzburg to Dortmund, and Moukoko, man, it's overshadowing. And another player, I gotta say, that shocked me, that's overshadowing a lot of players in the world, okay? Definitely strikers, is Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting has 14 games, 10 goals, and 3 assists, man. No Lewandowski, no problem as it seems, man. But again, Musiala, Kimmich, all these players providing for the striker, it's inevitable for him to score goals. But big shout out to Choupo-Moting. And I was like thinking, imagine if Olivier Giroud had gone to Bayern Munich. Would he be more respected in the world of football right now? Like, I was thinking about that.
Maybe. I mean, it takes a person with their head under a rock to not see how big Olivier Giroud has been for AC Milan. Plus, he probably doesn't care that much because he does have a Scudetto in his back pocket. And he's on his way to fighting for playing another important role for them. But yeah, Choupo-Moting, I mean, you have, like, he barely plays, right? But when he does, he scores goals. And either that is a testament to how good he is at his positioning, or it's a testament to how good Bayern is in their roles, right? They're comfortable. I mean, that is Nagelsmann, kind of in a nutshell. And then Choupo-Moting, man. But he wasn't doing that at PSG.
True. And the agent of Choupo-Moting, man. Insane how he goes from, like, PSG to Bayern. And he's always playing a bit, as it seems. So, as it seems, career management, insane.
Yeah. Choupo-Moting is doing what everyone thought Alvaro Morata would do. Going from amazing team to amazing team, except Choupo-Moting actually scores goals.
Right now, true. And there's conspiracy theories that Morata is money laundering right there. So, there's conspiracies about that in the football Twitter space. Just saying.
Well, I'll tell you,
man.
You know who is not money laundering? Who also has his roots in PSG. That is Christian Nkunku, man, because every time you think he's gonna slow down, this guy does not slow down, and I want to see him play a big role for France in the World Cup. Christian Nkunku is coming off a 55 goal involvement season last season, and everyone probably thought, that's probably one and done. It's probably a fluke. It's probably just one of those breakout seasons that gets him paid. Nope. He's got 16 goals, 2 assists in 21 games this season. They are on a 10-game tear, 8 wins, 2 draws since the beginning of October, and Christo Nkunku is the reason why. RB Leipzig, I buried them at the beginning of the season because they started off horrendously, and then what did they do? They finished in the top 2 of their Champions League group, and they're climbing up the table, and it's all because of this 24-year-old. This 24-year-old kid. It's amazing.
Man, in the Bundesliga, 11 goals in 13 games. Insane, man. Hoffenheim couldn't stop him. And he can't, like, Nkunku. If Nkunku doesn't start for France ahead of Antoine Griezmann, seriously, there's serious problems, okay, with their champ for making that decision happen, okay? And the best player in the Bundesliga. It's not even like a bold take on that. And no Werner, and Nkunku still delivers. Like,
and let's be honest, Griezmann's used to coming off the bench, right? You know, because otherwise they have to. Just kidding. But Christo Nkunku 100% needs to start for Les Bleus, because I think just like we were talking about that chip on your shoulder type of. Christo Nkunku plays like that. He plays like somebody has hurt him in the past. And I want to see that for Les Bleus. I don't want to see some entitled, whatever. It's World Cup champions.
And Upamecano too. I just mentioned with that Bayern win against Hertha 3-2, like Choupo-Moting went bold. And Upamecano, there's big improvements on his side. And Upamecano and Saliba definitely are 2 center backs that must be going to Qatar, in my opinion. Upamecano, much better in decision making, and his mistakes are much less. Okay, a lot of mistakes last season, but this one it's not the same. But I just want to say too on Bundesliga, because I gotta mention this team too, man. The top of the league team, Union Berlin, lost to the team that's doing a great rebuild by picking Xabi Alonso. Okay, 5-0 win. Okay, and Tapsoba, Incapi. All these bold players are turning up. And I got to say, Moussa Diaby, 2 goals with Xabi Alonso. Adam Hozek, a goal and an assist. So I am not surprised that the players that love goals love Xabi Alonso. Florian Wirtz, Palacios, Jeremy Frimpong must be in that plane to Qatar too, okay? So I really believe highly in this Leverkusen team.
Yeah, just end the schizophrenia, please. End the schizophrenia, because that is what it has been to be a Bayer Leverkusen, watcher this season, because nobody expected that. Now, let's be honest. Union Berlin have been punching above their weight for the last few seasons, and if you look at their XG, right, which is expected goals, their XG is low. It's low, and yet they have scored so many more goals than what were expected, and they had found themselves at the top of the table due to a very organized way that they play and some very timely goals from Sabachu and Geraldo Becker. There is a team behind it that has been 1 point, I think now in second place, that has not been getting the credit they deserve because they have not been at the top of the table, and that's Freiburg. Freiburg, you don't know any of the people on the pitch for them, right? I believe Michael Gregorich is one of their best players. Okay, so what it comes down to is it is cramped at the top. Dortmund's even still in it, but you got to give kudos to some of these teams that are really making a run at it, while Leipzig finds their feet again, while Dortmund finds their feet again, while Leverkusen finds their feet again. And I'm 100% here for it, because while we all know Bayern's probably going to still win it in the end, at least for now, there's a little parity in the German Bundesliga.
And Leipzig, man, I'm going to give big credits with them. I'm going to go back to them, because Leipzig did take that decision of, we're going to keep Nkunku another season. We're going to keep Gvardiol another season. We're going to sign in Timo Werner, okay? So they're making tough calls, and the right calls, as it seems, right now. And the manager changed too. So RB Leipzig is going bold, and they're definitely aiming for the Bundesliga title this season, because there's an opening. There is an opening. And I can't see Dortmund. Like, the rebuild after Jude, Jude is going to be insane. I have no idea. Orkun Koksu, is that the midfielder you'll get from Feyenoord type beat? I have no idea how Dortmund is gonna deal with it. Like,
he's not as Koksu is not as multi-dimensional as Jude Bellingham is,
it
but
had to be a
he's
6 and an 8. I agree.
Yeah, it's the Calvin Phillips conundrum for Leeds United. You can't replace him outright. You have to get two guys to kind of platoon together to form one. And Jude Bellingham is probably three guys in one right now for what he's doing as a 19-year-old. But no, it is good to see. And one last thing in the Bundesliga, really quickly, they're wonderful to hear. Alphonso Davies, during Bayern's game over the weekend, limped off with a tweaked whatever. And it does seem like this is not something that's going to threaten his World Cup squad, his World Cup participation. So I know all CONCACAF fans, if you will, whether you're Mexican, whether you're American, whether you're whatever, you're still looking. The World Cup would be a worse off place if it did not have Alphonso Davies playing his first World Cup. So I am 100% excited to see him suiting up for Canada.
I'm sure the people at home that are Belgian, Moroccan, and Croatian, they're looking. They're looking because Canada, that group is so interesting, okay? I'm going to love to see your final thoughts on that one. That the video is going to be out soon, people, okay? So you might as well subscribe to FC Wonderkid on YouTube if you're listening until now. But we're talking here Bundesliga, and in the La Liga, something big, very big happened. And I was quite surprised with how fast all the news came out about Piqué retirement, and I gotta say, best decision he could have done. Piqué doesn't depend on football right now, and he's already getting commissions, okay, with La Liga playing in other countries, okay. Right. So I really feel like as a businessman, Piqué, he's doing very well. He's already having a function inside Barca of doing deals and with the league. So I just want to say to Piqué, great decision, okay, to retire right now. And I fully expect Piqué to try to be the next president of Barcelona. And I do think he's going to win it. Because, again, he's an elite businessman. So you don't think
past exploits with
Gavi.
That's gonna hurt.
No,
that's gonna hurt.
Gavi was crying, man. Gavi was crying with Piqué.
I know.
So I'm sure Piqué, again, he's a club legend, man. He's involved. He's been involved with everything with Barca, and just the way he speaks about Gavi and Pedri, like it's really in a loving way. So Piqué knows that he was being a burden right now for Barca. I really feel like he felt it. Xavi must have been straight up with him, and that was the best decision for Piqué. Legend.
But it is really interesting that he picked this particular moment in time, like for them to have kind of a center back injury crisis to then decide to step away, because they do have a center back injury crisis. And yet I say that one side of the coin, I say that they have a injury crisis at center back, but Barcelona has also only conceded 4 goals this season in La Liga, so it can't be too bad. Or it could be because their offense is so dominant that the defense never really has to do a damn thing. And Ter Stegen. Yeah, Ter Stegen happens. But you want to know what I thought you were going to talk about instead of Piqué? I thought you were going to talk about the world's confirmation that Alex Balde is not only Barcelona's best left back, but he's also their best right back.
100% best fullback. 100%. Go to Qatar, Balde, man. He needs to 100% be on that plate too. But yes, man, Ter Stegen, okay, has already equaled the amount of clean sheets in La Liga that he had last season, and he's a fulcral player for Barca to be going bold in the league. Not in the Champions League, they didn't, but in the league, they did go bold. No. But once again with Piqué too, I just want to say something very big that Piqué did, okay, was Barca owes Piqué 80 million right now, and he has said that 30 million they don't need to spend. So Barca will only spend 50 million of the remains to Piqué that he has right now. So I think he's going to enjoy his retirement. And again, I really feel like he's going to try to be the Barca president in the future. So yeah, that 30 million, I just wanted to say, it's still 30 million, man. So
can we all please just take a moment to realize what we're even talking about here? Barcelona made so many crappy deals for so many years, but they have somehow convinced their legacy players, their best players, to literally give them money back so that they could remain solvent and competitive. Either that's gaslighting or there is obviously something special. I mean, I know the answer. There's something special at Barcelona to make somebody go, I don't need the 30 million. I don't need the 30 million. That is insane to me. It would never happen with any other club, ever.
He'll be badly judged if he didn't do it. Like, if Piqué didn't do that, or the 30 million, I honestly think he wouldn't become the Barca president in the future.
So it's a down payment on him becoming president.
No, it's just a good way of starting things. Good way of convincing the Barca public. I feel like
that's an expensive way to start your campaign, but I hear you. I think more so Barcelona fans should still be up in arms. You can support the club, but they should still be up in arms that they had criminals at the top of their enterprise for as many years as they did. Without anyone flushing them out and making them pay absolutely dearly for it. And you can still love the club while doing that. I agree. I agree that is ridiculously charitable of Piqué to do. Barcelona obviously is, they're going to miss him. They are going to miss him. He's lost a step, but they're going to miss him. So we'll see what happens.
Piqué, like that center back, Puyol and Piqué, those times are missed, man. Those times are Rams, Pep. Oh, man. What El Clásicos.
Now, just imagine if Piqué had this type of career with Manchester United.
Oh, best decision ever to go to Barca and leave United. Dude, things at the right time, man. And Piqué did just that. I just got to say that. And I'm saying do things at the right time, okay? And I'm going to just talk here fast about João Félix, man. João Félix once again, a goal was needed, and coming off the bench, who did it? João Félix. And I think it's not bold to say right now, 100% João Félix is the best player in Athletic Madrid right now. And he's on the bench playing like 20 minutes. Simeone clearly has some personal grudge with Félix. And is he too good for you, mate? So he might just leave, okay? 2 goals, that brace man of the match. So start him the next game. No, he did not good enough. So what does he need now? Unbelievable. He's going.
And once again, he's in the same position, and he uses João Félix again, and he gets his point.
Exactly.
Simeone for me has lost the plot, but I don't know. Watch him grind his way to a La Liga title this season. No, I doubt it. But I honestly think that ship has sailed, and he's going to lose Atletico Madrid at some point. But we all must remember. But we all must remember, Simeone is still the most highly compensated coach on the planet. So,
how is that possible, man? Playing the football that he plays. How does he receive more than a Guardiola, than a Klopp? That is absolutely insane. And bad management from Atletico. Not getting a João Félix, man. Because every single team in the world wanted João Félix. That's the truth. And Atletico didn't have the coach to play with a João Félix. Because right now, he's saying, look what I can do. Look what I can do, man. I just can imagine. Imagine if Félix had Ancelotti or Xavi. Man. Ancelotti is doing wonders with Camavinga, Vini, Rodrigo. Even saying Rodrigo is going to be a number 9 in the future. What's the vision he'd have with João Félix? Definitely a better one than Simeone, man.
Oh. He'd have one. He'd at least have one,
Exactly.
So there's that.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, but, I don't know. You got anything else about La Liga? I want to hop over to Serie A for a second.
we can go Serie A, definitely, man. Because no Kvisha, Napoli still wins against Atalanta.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean that was not an easy test against Atalanta. Okay, Atalanta is still a good team, and they passed with flying colors. Why? Because they have depth. They somehow have depth. True. At the beginning of the season, nobody was expecting Napoli to have this type of depth. But when all your transfers happen to pan out like right away, and they make ridiculous outsized contributions to your team's success, you can have Victor Osimhen going bold. You can have Peter Zielinski going bold. You don't need Kvaratskhelia to do everything for you, all while having a immensely solid defense like Min Jae Kim and those behind him. So top of the league, top of the Champions League group. and a month of rest coming up for Victor Osimhen, for Kavica Kvaratskhelia. Some of the best players, Lobotka, some of the best players in Serie A right now are going to get to sit back and enjoy the next month while everyone kills themselves for a month. But no.
Great show and great shout. And another player I want to give a shout is that left back, man. I really think Matias Oliveira. Theo Hernandez exists, but Matias Oliveira as a signing for left back, one of the best in the world right now. Uruguay.
How many tackles do you have?
Oh, yeah. I have no idea, but clearly Uruguayan. Clearly Uruguayan. That's like tackles. That's what you gotta say. I agree, man. And the velocity, the positioning, and you don't get of how didn't people talk more about him, man? It's insane. Great scouting once again, man. And I'm gonna say Kvisha, he didn't play, okay, but I did see a lot of news about the price tag already being established because of recent interest of Chelsea and Liverpool for Kvisha Kvaratskhelia, which is completely understood, and the price tag is 100 million. Okay, Napoli's putting.
Gosh.
And honestly, if Grealish goes to City for 100, Kvisha is more than worth it. And if he was Brazilian, if he was English, if he was Portuguese too, I believe, man, 100 million would be doable because Rafael Leão is being compared with Kvisha, and the numbers are 120 and 150. So Kvaratskhelia, I think, should be considered the same if he's got a good contract.
So I'm going to put $100 million contract or $100 million price on the head of Miggy Almiron as well. Because Almiron has done more than Grealish has. That's for dang sure. And he continues to. In fact, Grealish has got a lot of catching up to do. Hell, I'd even say Phil Foden has a lot of catching up to do to Miggy Almiron. I'm kidding here. All of this is tongue-in-cheek. I'm just kidding. But when it comes down to it, leave it to Todd Bowley. Leave it to Todd Bowley to say, who has the most goal involvements right now? 100 million? Fine. Let's go. Not that I'm saying Kvaratskhelia couldn't do wonders at Stamford Bridge, but Stamford Bridge is very, very different than playing under Spalletti, right? Playing under a wonderful attacking kind of count. It just plays to every bit of Kvaradana's skill set. To have them there, I mean, come on, these people have forgotten about Lorenzo Insigne. Do you know how amazing it is that even happened? Not 5 years later. Within 1 year, Dries Mertens and essentially Lorenzo Insigne have been forgotten, right?
Facts right there. That's a good one. What?
Other big thing with Serie A, I just got to give a, clap. After 10 months, Federico Chiesa steps on the field again for Juve, and I cannot be absolutely happy. Juve is still an absolute train wreck right now. Don't get me wrong, but Federico Chiesa was so ridiculously electric during those Euros, and I think I shed a tear when he actually went down, because that man was on fire, in form, and I can't wait, and I hope he gets back to that once again.
Love it. Love that mention, man. And I'm going to mention here, so on my end here at the end, Neymar, man. What's happening, man? What a game that was against Lorient. No Messi, but there was Neymar right there. And that's all you need. A goal and an assist. And after the age of 30, Neymar's stats are insane, man. He's got 38 games, 30 goals, and 17 assists after the age of 30. So he ain't stopping. Still. And it's just the start, especially leading up to this World Cup. And Renato Sanches coming off the bench. I like to see him too. And Vitinha, masterclass quality. And Daniel Pereira scored. So I want to give a shout out to him too.
Well,
30 games unbeaten. 30 games unbeaten PSG in all competitions, man. Only Benfica, okay, can top a group in Europe. Okay, with a PSG as it seems, because Benfica did just start with Enzo, Roger Schmidt, Antonio Silva, Gonçalo Ramos, merecido, deserved. Deserved, man.
Roger Schmidt is doing a lot better than Alfred Schroeder is doing at Ajax right now, that's for sure. But no, I mean, come on, 6 tiebreakers, 6 tiebreakers. Do you think João Mario knew
yes, he knew
that when he scored that goal that he broke the tiebreaker? That is insane. That's absolutely amazing that they ran up that score, because that's why this Champions League
Mentality.
As many negatives as people might have with the Champions League setup, you're not going to get this crap with the Super League. You're not going to get this crap with the Super League. That was so much fun to watch midweek. And Benfica, continues. What are they, like 20 games, 20 wins, 3 assists, 3 draws this season?
Yeah, I think it's 20. I think they got 23. They're definitely more than 20 games unbeaten already, and they have like more than like 45 goals this season. And you got Rafa, undisputed, one of the best Portuguese players out there. João Mário. You got Enzo, Antonio, Gonçalo Ramos. So you have 5 to 6 players here that are going to give definitely Benfica 200 million. Definitely 200 million. Enzo leaves for 80, like straight off the bat. Gonçalo more than 50. Antonio, 60 minimal. So just these, close to 200. So Benfica, talent factory. Talent factory. Benfica camp. Well, right there. I mean, I had to mention. But we can mention too Brasileirão. Talent factory. Abel Ferreira. Okay, what a win that was, man. Gotta say it.
We can certainly mention that, but before we move on to the Brasileirão, I gotta say, because of what Benfica is doing, no offense to Porto, no offense to Sporting, but you're gonna find me when I go to Portugal at the Estadio da Luz. So get me, and we're gonna be there, right? We're gonna be there. Now, I do want to go to a Sporting game one day. I definitely want to go to a Porto. I've been to Porto and love that city. That city is amazing. But the circumstances have that Benfica is home when we are there. But it also just so happens that they are winning their butts off, for lack of a better term. So I am here for it. And you know who else won their butts off this season in order to win the Brasileirão? That would be Palmeiras.
Yes. So, Palmeiras, Abel Ferreira, man, has 2 Copa Libertadores, 1 Brasileirão, 1 Copa do Brasil, 1 Paulista, 1 Copa Sul-Americana. Abel Ferreira definitely has to be one of the catalysts of best coaches, in Brazil. Definitely, in my opinion. Jorge Jesus went and made a change. Abel Ferreira did just that too, man. And Hendrik has got a great coach, man, for him. Great coach, man. So love it.
For him to be doing what he's doing right now, with the composure that he's doing it with, and the respect he has for the game, Hendrik is going to be fun to watch for years to come. I'm all for giving people space, giving people time, especially when they're that young. But unfortunately, when you're young or when you're good enough, you're young enough. True. Right? Or what is it? What is it? When you're good enough, you're old enough. You're old enough. That's what it is.
I know Abel didn't put Hendrik on purpose. Like he even said, like Hendrik could play, but I just feel like as a man, as a person, he needs to improve of a lot of moral aspects. This was Abel saying it, man. He said like fame can get to you, especially at a young age, and not everyone's like Neymar. That he can dance with fame and play well. But Hendrik, I think he's a very focused kid. But I really believe, I've said it in the past, Hendrik and Vinicius, that duo can lead the world of football. Okay? Potential, to go against Mbappe, Hendrik. Potential. So, bold player.
How amazing it would be if Hendrik winds up at Real Madrid and Vitor Roque winds up at Barcelona. I'd be here for that.
I don't know if Vitor Roque is the... Like, it's going to be like 30, 40, right? 30, 40 million.
Yeah, it's not going to be that much. Yeah, because he hasn't, I don't know. He hasn't made as much. Actually, he has. He's been 17. Phenomenal.
17.
He's 17. He started in the Copa Libertadores final.
If I'm Barca, I'd go hard on Moukoko. Like, like, whatever. Like, 30 million, give him that for the sign-up clause, man. If that's, like, the money. Like, if Hendrik goes to Real, I think the best answer that Barca could do would be Moukoko, in my opinion. But
Xavi needs to first find themselves another center back before they go shopping for any strikers. But yes, no, that's a wonderful shot. And the last thing about Abel Ferreira, Hendrik is a different prospect than some of the ones that he currently has in the Palmeiras setup. But Gabriel Varane has gone through there. They still have Danilo. They still have some amazing young talents that are obviously older than 16. Patrick De Paula. They've got some players that will make the jump if they haven't already. And so he's got this experience with kind of blooding a young player. Endrick obviously is different breed, so it's going to be really interesting to see how his future pans out.
Ronnie, man, too.
Ronnie,
Like, that was a player that I didn't know too much about. And with Abel, Ronnie, Jesus, what a player. I think he's got like 20 goals like this season. So great impact. I think he had an offer of 10 million and he didn't accept Abel. He said, no, Ronnie stays. He's not going. So that showed. And Brazil, they don't refuse. They don't tend to refuse those deals in Brazil. So yeah, that was a big shout. That was a big shout. But I think something happened though in your side of the pond, man.
It's time.
It's time, man. What happened, man? Bale clutch time? Unbelievable. From Real Madrid to now LAFC. 128th minute. I didn't like that. That's insane minutes for someone to score a goal.
Before I talk about the Philadelphia Union, as a neutral, which I am not in this environment, but as a neutral, if you were ever on the fence about whether or not you were a football fan, especially in America where it is growing and it is growing exponentially, but there are people that are resistant to change and want to swear that baseball's the whatever and want to swear that football is so much, American football is so much better, you just watch that game. Facts. That game did not have the highest quality of football in it, but that game was every bit of entertainment value. You had a David versus Goliath type of situation in the sense of LAFC with their big spending, owners and big names in Carlos Vela and Gareth Bale and Chiellini and all these names. And then you've got the Philadelphia Union who have pieced together a Moneyball roster and built from the youth academy with Brendan Aronson and Mark McKenzie and becoming that selling club that a lot of these Brazilian squads do over the years. Philly is just starting with that process. So you have these two teams that just went at each other. And Philly fought back not once but twice to tie it up late in the game the second time. And then they scored. There was a broken leg. Prayers up to Maxime Crepeau, who sacrificed his spot in the Canadian national team at the World Cup in order to win this game for them. He got in the way of Corey Burke. We took the lead. We thought we had 4 minutes left to close out the game, and there it is. Yeah, Gareth Bale, the $100 million man coming in, scoring a goal. And once he scored that goal, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody in the bar that I was watching it in, my brother-in-law that was at the game, we all knew that penalty kicks weren't going to do it. But I got a fun story for you. Here. The man, I love how the sun is shining on me right now, too. Ouch, in my eyes. But this story right now, okay? John McCarthy, the guy that came in for Maxime Crepeau when he went down and broke his leg, got a red card because he was impeding our striker and saved a sure goal, okay? But John McCarthy, who came in for him, the backup goalkeeper, barely played for the LAFC this season. You ready for this? He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He went to college, to uni, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was signed first by the Philadelphia Union and was our backup keeper for years. And he winds up going to LAFC, not knowing that he was ever going to play against his former squad. And he is the guy that saves 2 penalty kicks to send LAFC to their first MLS Cup title. And he is the MVP of the MLS Cup. I mean, come on, you can't write that story any better. You can't. Even if it hurts my heart and all of my being to say it, but I gotta say, if you have one chance, if you ever want to look at MLS in a positive light, watch the highlights to that game or rewatch that game and tell me that you can't get behind that brand of football and what progress Major League Soccer is making and will continue to make over the next 4 seasons as we move into World Cup 2026 territory. And the last shout out I got to say before I shut up and we get off this thing and I get on a plane to go to Portugal is the Philadelphia Union in particular as a club. I am not biased and partisan when it comes to watching football. I will watch any football anywhere. But it is so amazing to see a club that has arguably not spent big and has trusted building the youth, which just fits in with our FC Wonderkid moniker. It is just so beautiful to see this club and see the support of this city come, behind it. I was watching grown men cry in this bar after this team. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I never would have thought that would ever happen at the end of a Major League Soccer game. Okay? So the fact of the matter is no, we don't have 100 years of heritage here, but the Philadelphia Union, LAFC, all the clubs of Major League Soccer are starting to build a product that has heritage, that has history, and that gets it. That gets what is so big and why it's been so big in Europe and South America for years. And that was getting my heart and my throat ripped out of me yesterday. It just tells me that I'm, there's another step closer to being an incredibly relevant league. And the Philadelphia Union, I got to thank them because they're the reason that I am 100% obsessed with this sport. So there you go. I'm done. But next year, Union, you're coming back and you're going to get it done. But
you guys have a good team, man, and good coach, right? So it's like the establishment, the pillars are there. So I agree about what you said about U.S. football, man. U.S. soccer or U.S. football. I completely agree. It's only getting started. And to be fair, like in the world of football, the best content creator in 2022 is American. And he's 17, man. Speed, okay? Went ball with that World Cup song. That is better than the official songs of the World Cup, man. Great. Like, he's so talented as just, like, he's so funny. Like, Speed is naturally so funny, in my opinion. Yeah. And keep on doing you. Keep on going bold, man. Keep on going bold.
I agree with the majority of that sentiment there. Keep on being you, Speed. But ultimately, I mean, it doesn't say much about Little Baby's World Cup anthem if you're telling me that Speed song is good, because I listened to it and I wanted to light my hair on fire.
What?
But ultimately,
he goes bold,
but this kid being a football fan, right? And just everybody wanting him to be around to experience football with him. It's entertaining. I gotta give him that. It's 100. He is. He's playing the dumb American. I don't mean to call him dumb, but the dumb American learning football for the first time game. He's playing that game so remarkably well, and it's getting him to places I don't think he ever expected to go as a streamer.
Speed.
You know,
Ronaldo said Speed in the out of Adidas. I was like, what? This is all making
unreal.
sense now. So, like, the levels of this man, best content creator in 2022.
He's so angry. He's so angry.
And the U.S. men's national team should have him, like, as the main fan. Like, what? Like, he should be the ambassador. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. He's already adopted Portugal. I don't know what to tell you. He couldn't name anyone on the U.S. men's national team. So.
Oh, man, I love to have a chance. Speed, man. Yeah, keep going bold, man. And if you come to Portugal, estás bem-vindo. You know where to come. You're more than welcome, Speed, to go bold. But if you're listening until now, do not forget to like this video, episode 80, community. And a quick reminder, we're gonna do a big giveaway with the like count, okay? More than 200, definitely, okay, people? If we're gonna go bold with a giveaway, next podcast, episode 81, okay? Thank you for listening until now, community, and thank you for going bold another week, community.